And welcome back to another episode of The Mind of Reese. I am so glad you're here. Today we are going to talk about how to build a recession-proof business. There has been so many people, so many artists that have come to me, especially in 2023, on telling me how hard everything is. And if you've been listening to my latest podcast episodes, you know that this is happening. It's like, how hard is this? How hard is this? How hard is this? And last year, to just bring context, I raised my prices twice last year. I booked out months in advance during the recession and during quote unquote slow season. And so when you have built a business that can be recession proof, it's a business built on a branding that people want to subscribe to. So when I say how to build a business for that's recession proof, what I really mean is that you are building a movement where people are subscribing to the identifiers, to your beliefs, to your ethos, to your movement, to your message that you're describing in the online space, that where when people might be lacking in money, they're not lacking in emotion to spend that money. So a lot of times when we have recessions, do you know what goes up? Drinking, partying, all of these kinds of things, or mental health things such as like Chinese tea ceremonies, a lot of human-based things where we're in groups because we feel this sense of depression and loneliness, especially when our piece of our safety, because we derive so much safety in money that like a part of our safety, we feel unsafe. So we want a group. We want to go in groups. And if you have a business that's based on your values, your beliefs, and your ethos, and how you see this industry and the experiences you offer, more people are going to actually come to you to be in community with you because they are emotionally lonely and feel as though they're like, wow, you know what, actually getting a tattoo right now, even though it's a luxury and I might not have the money, it's actually something I just need to really be a part of, like Reese's energy. And that is actually very, very true. Speaking to some of my clients, asking them, there are a lot of people out there that actually aren't affected by the recession. And to those that believe that their clientele is affected by the recession, which a lot of us are, and I'm not going to negate that fact. But when they believe that those are their clients, then they are basically, I would say, putting their clients in a box. They're saying, oh, because of the recession and people aren't making money, which means I would say, disrespecting your client because you are not seeing them as empowered humans that can walk themselves through a sale or through your doors and to come get tattooed by you. Because I think actually it's quite the opposite. When we're in recession, we want to group together. We want to be we want to humanize each other. We want to be in connection. You look at COVID, that was perfect case in point. All we wanted to do was be around other people in some capacity. And when we have found a place where we feel safe, I call it the safe haven effect. It's when your profile, your online branding, your online brand, you as the brand, becomes such an identifier for them where they come to your space because they know they feel safe. Because every time you post something, they're just like, oh my God, I needed to hear that. Thank you so much for that reminder. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed to see today. I was feeling XYZ. And they start to identify with you. They start to look forward to your content. Every time it pops up, they read through everything what you're reading or what you're writing. And your messaging just continues to come back to the home, come back to your North Star, which is, I call your North Star as your brand message. It's your brand story. It's your North Star. And so every time you come back home to your North Star, you actually create a brand that is recession proof. So when recessions happen, because they will, the economy goes up and down all of the time, you're actually building a brand and a business that can sustain. And I utilize the concept of launching because there's three parts to a launch. There's pre-launch, launch, the actual launch, and post-launch, and I'm talking about this because yes, I'm currently in a launch for my newest program called Booked Out 2.0. And this is the step-by-step launch strategy that I use every single time to get myself booked out anywhere from $10,000 in deposits cash up front to $22,000 cash up front. I think that was one of my highest times that had ever happened, and it happened all in 3 days. So with the concept of launching, and not just launching. So when I think of launching, I'm not only thinking of the actual launch. I'm thinking about, what do I need to do to prep myself for this launch so that I can be successful? And so in this program, I teach you everything from building a magnetic brand that people want to identify with, all the way down to the launching strategies, exactly the exact content that I use in my launches. And I will also give you bird's eye view on some of the launches that just recently happened and how I was able to book out. And, and during these recession times, like I said, I was able to raise my prices twice, and during, quote unquote, slow season. And so these moments that we believe and we give our power away to, it's like there's actual strategies and energetics that we need to tap into so that we can build a business that can withstand the economy's rise and fall. And that's the most important thing. It's like you don't actually have to have a dysregulated nervous system every time something is happening out in the world that you can't control. Because to be perfectly honest, you can't control much except for you can't control anything actually, except for what's going in your inner world. What's going on in your inner world is the only thing that you can I wouldn't even say control, but that you can move through in an easeful way. And so for me, it's like the concept of launching. So the concept of launching, what it helps you with, it builds anticipation. So by announcing specific dates and times when your books are open, you can generate urgency and a sense of excitement, which leads to more bookings. It manages expectation, having a set schedule. You set clear expectations with your clients. It keeps you organized. I mean, when I was thinking about the times that I was just doing things willy-nilly, or if I didn't have like a certain structured setting, it made me feel chaotic. And although I work really best in chaos, and I know that a lot of us feel like that's the way we have to work as entrepreneurs, but the more organized we are, we understand what our seasons are. Where's my energy? What kind of content do I feel like putting out? What's alive for me? I know that when I can condense a launch in 2 weeks, then I know that I'm going to be in my energy to be in the platform, to be, selling myself, telling stories, telling people the reasons, not even the reasons why they should book with me inadvertently. So I never say, hey, this is the reason why you should book with me. It's more like I am giving them reasons through who I am being. Oh my God, you guys, I am so fucking excited to bring back Booked Out, but this time it is Booked Out 2.0. We're making this a step-by-step program where we're going over everything you will need to do in preparation to launching your books, being opened, and getting booked out. I am telling you, this launch strategy that I use every single time to make $20,000, $15,000, $12,000 every time I open my books, cash in the bank in deposits within 24 hours to 3 days to 5 days. I mean, we've had other students book out $20,000 deposit days where they've booked out 4 to 5 to 6 months in advance. This is my tried and true method. You are not going to want to miss this. This is a whole new Booked Out. Now, if you've been in Booked Out before, this is even better. We are diving in so much deeper. I have revamped it to where you are understanding how to launch, how to create Dark Heart community, really activating storytelling to move people to action. You are not going to want to miss this. Right now, we are having a sweet, sweet motherfucking deal. Click in the show notes, get your ass in the room. I can't wait to see you. And when I do that, and I offer myself space to be like, okay, this is the time I'm going to do this, and this is the time I'm going to keep my energy up. So I don't have to be on social media all the time, and I can be in my energy during that time. Creating a launch for your book's opening creates scarcity. Because since you're only opening up your books for a certain amount of times, you create a sense of scarcity. And this makes your service seem more valuable, and it increases demand. And not only that, it helps with your customer journey. When I think about customer journey, Professionalism is everything. Tattoos are a luxury. How do I want to feel from the moment that I find you to the moment that I leave after my last hug with a fresh tattoo? That's the customer journey. When everybody thinks that the customer journey happens right when you're like, oh, this person might pay me, or this person has sent a deposit in, that's their customer journey. Absolutely not. You are totally losing out on the amount of people who could be potential soulmate clients because you're not speaking to everyone. Now, I call this emotional availability. Most artists are not emotionally available. It's mostly transactional business for them. And that's okay. That's a model that anybody can have. Absolutely. If that's your model. Personally, I think it's a short-lived and unsustainable model, and it's not a recession-proof model. Because when you think about if it's just transactional and you've built no relationship and you have just tattoos as a portfolio on your Instagram, when recession happens and people don't have money, who do you think they want to identify with? They're going to be like, well, not the guy that doesn't really care. He's like, cool, he's got cool tattoos, but that I can't afford. That's what they think. Cool tattoos I can't afford. However, when we have created a brand, when we have created an identifiable brand, a magnetic brand of authenticity, of what I believe in, what my ethos are, what it's like when you build a belief-based business that someone can identify with, they subscribe to, they're like, fuck yeah, I'm a part of that. If I were to hold a sign up in the air and it says exactly what my ethos are, exactly what my brand story is, my brand mission, that's my North Star. Every time I talk about something in the online space, I'm talking about it in diversified ways, but it always comes back to the fact that I believe that tattoos are healing and that they change people's lives. And it's an experience, a healing experience and a healing journey that people go through. I also go back to like my main ethos, that's spiritual and mental health and well-being and vitality leads to wealth and success in your tattoo business. And so I'm always I look at tattooing as a modality in medicine of healing and spiritual and mental health healing. I look at my teachings, the way that I do things, the way that your spiritual journey, that's like you start with the healing first and then it actually will lead you to success. So like everything comes back to that North Star for me. That's my brand story. So every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah, people, now that there has been some economic crisis here, and all of a sudden I've created a brand that is a transformational relationship over a transactional relationship, all of a sudden people that may or may not have like the funds to be like, well, that guy's great, but I don't have the money. And then they're like, wow, Reese is amazing. And I love what she stands for. And I'm feeling really like I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for I'm ready to feel good in my body. I'm ready to take charge of my life. I'm ready to be confident again. I'm ready. They're like, they see that and they're like, I don't even think about how much I have to spend. They don't even think about it. Why? Because during those times of recessions and hard times, it actually bands people together. People want to identify with something more than ever during those times. And I'm not saying play into that. I'm saying that, and once you've built a brand that people are like, yeah, I'm subscribed to this message, then you have really created a recession-proof business. Because people last year made more money. There were so many people, not only from this industry, but from every other industry that I know of, especially in the coaching industry, where people made more money last year, even during a recession or during quote unquote slow season, than a lot of the other people too. So there's so many different stories going on here. Which one am I going to subscribe to? I'm going to subscribe to the ones where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to build a recession-proof business. I want to help others build recession-proof businesses. And I'm going to walk and talk and act as though that this, as in that authenticity, in who I am, more than ever, shout it from the rooftop so that I can create meaningful relationships and have emotional availability for these relationships to happen. See, the problem is that what most artists want to do, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm a transactional business. Like I said, it's great. You can have that model. However, if you're looking for, a tattoo business of your dreams, the one where you're tattooing when you want to, how you want to, what style you want to, if you change, people are bandwagoning on it. They don't give a shit. They just want to get tattooed by you. They don't care how long they have to wait. I mean, just the other day, I had a woman be like, I've always wanted a tattoo by you, but I just don't want to sit 8 hours. And I also don't like portraits. And so I've been offering these tiny tattoos, but they were Reiki tattooing. So we do Reiki ceremony. And we do this tiny tattoo on the meridian points on their either on their spine or on any part of their body where there's meridian points that it can connect back to their, energy centers and realign them. And we go into the person and their energetic bodies and heal from the inside out. And then we solidify it with a tattoo. And these things take like an hour. The tattoo takes 15 minutes. The ceremony takes about 45 minutes. So it's more ceremony than tattooing. The tattooing is more symbolic than anything. And this woman was so like excited just to come. She'd been following me for I don't know how many years, she said. She said her daughter now was so inspired by me. She became a tattoo artist, which I find is so bananas crazy. And then also at the same time, at the end of the day, the price of the tattoo is like a fraction of the tip. She paid me twice. She gave me a $700 fucking tattoo, a $700 tip. It's basically, I'm not trying to go roundabout about it. Let me just be real with you. Woman gave me $700 on top of how much the 15-minute tattoo cost. And I was like, that's like twice as much as you owe. Like, we don't need all this. And she was like, no, I'm abundant. I feel fucking abundant. Thank you for that. Here. And it's like, that's a transformational relationship. That's a transformational situation. Yes, law of reciprocity states that what I give, I will get back in kind. And so the more that I give, the more that I'm emotionally available to have these kinds of relationships without it being because if you pay me, that's the only time I'm going to make a relationship with you. I've made it my mission that it's not about going like fast. I'm like, I want to go impactful. Like I want to go like wide. I don't care what I have to do and how slow it goes. I am going to make relationship with every single person that wants to make relationship with me. If you land in the DMs, and you want to have a conversation, I do my best to have the conversation. Obviously with the emotional intelligence that I have to hold boundaries, because I know humanly I cannot answer every single person at the level and depth that I'd like to, but I go as hard as I can. And especially in the comments, I love it when people leave me meaningful comments. I will leave you one back and I will ask you questions and we will go in it. Why? Because I love to. I love being in relationship to you. That actually feels really fucking good to me. That feels so good to me. I do these podcasts for fun. Like I don't do them to monetize it. It never was about that. And the fact that you guys love it so much, it makes me so happy. I'm like, how much more can I give? And I know that in the end, it will come back to me. I don't have an expectation of when that happens, but I know that it will. And so when I decide to be emotionally available for everybody before they decide to pay me, that means that I'm creating an identifiable brand where in the long run, in the sustainable aspect, because I believe in long-term business, I've lengthened my time horizon on how long I'm going to be in business. I'm not here for a season. I'm not thinking about, oh shit, what happens tomorrow? Yes, has there been hard moments where there are people canceling left and right and all of a sudden I'm left with like four appointments in 1 month and you're just like, holy shit, like that does, but I know how to regulate my nervous system around that. I know that in the long run, this is what happens. If I were to give you a stats point on profit when it came to my business and the hard, quote unquote, hard days from a full year, you would see it go up and down, but you would automatically see the rise in it. It's like up and down and up and down and up and down, but it continues to rise. It might not feel like that during the time, but you have to realize that if you were to like show on a map what it looks like, your profits going, how much money you made each month, and it just continues to rise, you're like, wow, I actually made way more money than I expected, and you're actually going on a rise, even though it felt a little volatile. I felt a little volatile a little bit in those times. So we really have to understand that like, if I'm going to be creating a business that's for such improve, I got to think of this in the long-term game. What kind of branding do I have? What kind of branding? And I'm not talking about the colors and all this stuff, which is great. And I think that that's something that, I think it's wonderful to have like a branding vibe to your page, and something that I will go deeply into when it comes to Tattoo Social Accelerator. We're going to be diving so deep into your archetypes and how you can utilize your archetypes in your branding. And it's so fun. I'm so excited to dive deeper into that. However, when you're building your branding, it's not just around the look of it. It's around the message. The message, the message, the message. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. If you have the message, you don't need much. You don't even have to join Booked Out. I'd say join Booked Out because it fucking feels the call for you. You feel the call for it, feels the call for you. You're like, yes, I want to learn. I want to get the strategies in my back pocket to fucking move and do great things in this world because I do want to create impact. Like that, Booked Out's for you if you're the type of person that's like, I want to create fucking massive impact in my business. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but slowly but surely, I'm going to do it and I'm going to create it and I'm going to play the long game. And it actually happens way faster when you decide to start that now. It happens so much faster. Had I known all the things that I know now and started a business over, oh my gosh, I think I would have done it in less than half the time. In less than half the time. But you know what? My journey wasn't about that. My journey was to get to this point so that I could have the story so that I could teach you to get it done faster and better than me. And that's my whole point. So the concept of launching is going to be one of your best back pocket secret weapons because this creates the magnetic brand. This concept creates what exactly I need to do in my content. This concept creates what exactly I need to be saying, who it is that I want to be. And that really gets to be it deep down. It comes back to who am I? And that gets to change. But as long as that is your first priority is you. Your first priority is your spiritual, mental health, and well-being. You're like, yes, I'm unearthing. I'm sifting and sifting. I'm taking whatever, I'm taking the dirt and grasping on the gold elements that really make me me and really make me be the tattoo artist that I am and really hold the level of expectation and the client journey that I want to give to the people that come to me and the client journey to the people that may be on the fence and they're like, living in the momentum of yes, always. Like that's the concept of launching. And another really beautiful reason to create launches, cash injections. Like I love a quick hit cash injection. When you're like 5K, 10K, 20K launches, you have those deposits in your pocket where you're like, now I've got like money to invest into myself, invest into my business, and so that I can continuously rise to the occasion. So I can get better at my art before my clients even get there and do even a better tattoo than they expected when they booked with me a month ago. Like that's a gangster move. It's like I believe in circulating that kind of energy into the world. That's why I'm like, I will give and give and give. And that's why you listen to all of my podcasts and content that's for free here in the online space. And you can literally be like, okay, cool. Yeah, I got exactly what I need. You can literally get everything you need in these spaces. But to really collapse the time, like that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you reason and space and time to get to know me better and to see if I'm the person for you. And that's what we do in the online space. It's like we give different angles of who I am and what I believe in so that you can decide if I am the person for you. And I will be very clear about who I am so that you can decide fast. And that's where we create that authoritative content. That's where we create this authority within the first 5 seconds of someone landing on my page and they're like, I want to identify with you because you're someone I would subscribe to because I believe in everything that you're saying and I love the way you say it. And you say it in a way that, can sometimes be cringeworthy, but goddamn, I can't stop listening. And man, I wish I was that bold. And man, I wish I had the guts. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man. And it's like, that's where we build recession-proof businesses. That's how we build diehard community. That's how we build up to a launch that we know is going to be successful. We know that the launch is going to be successful when you've done the work prior, when you've built it. when you've decided to take the time to do it, to make all the steps, to make it so juicy. The first 5 seconds I land on you, I know exactly who you are. I know exactly what kind of customer client you're calling in. Like whenever I do Instagram audits, I'm like, yep. Most of the time I look at someone's page and I'm like, okay, I see that they do this art, but what else? What else? What else? Like I don't quite get who you are. I see that you like to tattoo. I see that you like to tattoo in this style. I see that you're very good at it. But what else? Like I love a lot of art. I love a lot of art. I follow a lot of different artists. And yet would I pay and buy something from them? I'd say like maybe 1 out of 100 or more than that. 1 of thousands. I follow thousands of people. I don't even know how many artists I follow, and yet only one gets my monies. 2, 3. So you have to understand, there's a lot of artists out there. What makes it identifiable? And I talk about this so much, but it's because there is something not quite clicking for everybody in their minds when they think of the concept of being an identifier or subscribing to. Normally, it's because of fear, and that's why Flirt with Fear February is all on the rage, because I am in the concept of launching all February. I'm teaching the launching concepts to my tattoo artists in my Scale Mastermind who are becoming mentors, and they want to have programs like I have so that they can sell them as passive income and also create more impact in this world and help people in a very beautiful way in their own way. And so I'm teaching them the concept of launching from a coach's and mentor's perspective. And then I'm also teaching the tattoo artist the concept of launching from a tattoo artist perspective. And we're talking about the overarching thing is flirting with fear in that, because what? There is a lot of fear to the concept of launching. What if nobody shows up? What if I open my books and nobody signs up for my wait lists? What if? And of course, we got to walk ourselves through the what if. We have to have emotional intelligence here. We got to understand emotional mastery here. Try Unfuckwithable if you really want to go down the route of emotional mastery and become a Jedi master to your own fucking emotions. Like, that's a vibe. That's a great program for that shit. So it's like, we have to have emotional intelligence, emotional mastery. Of course, that's something I'm going to be touching on when it comes to Booked Out. Because without that, you cannot walk yourself with fear. You actually won't utilize the concept of launching, and you'll continue to do the same things that you're doing. And unfortunately, continuously outsource your power to everything else that we can blame it on for the reasons why things aren't working in your business. Recession, slow seasons, people canceling, your clients not having money. I think in that too, it's like, if I truly believe that my clients just don't have the money, or the people that are following me don't have the money to pay me for tattooing, how disempowering that is for them, for me to think that. Like, how kind of disempowering and disrespectful it is for me to think that my community can't afford me. They don't actually want tattoos, so I need more followers in order to do that. And that's a whole other podcast episode, which we will get into probably next week. Why you don't need more followers to turn them into soulmate clients. It's disempowering because of the fact that you've literally, before you even met anybody, you've decided for them that they don't have the ability to walk themselves through to getting a tattoo by you. It's not that they don't have the ability. It's just because you haven't touched on their emotions. You haven't shown up enough to where they believe in you. Ooh, that hurts. I know, because it's true. So the moment that we take that responsibility, and I'm like, I, in my mind, believe that there is the momentum of a yes, that every maybe and every no is a fucking yes. That every time I show up in the online space, I'm just adding to my intellectual property, to my content assets of collapsing time around getting to know me. And when I show up in that intention, my content compounds. So it's not 7 likes on this post and 8 likes on that post. It's 15 likes together. And if it's the same person on both likes, that means that they are warming up to exactly what they want to do. I am leading them into getting a tattoo by me because they've decided, whoa, 2 of her posts I fucking subscribe to. That's what content is for. Your content is for your business. Yes, to utilize your wisdom, your story in context to relating to the other person on the other side of the screen. And if I were to say that person doesn't know how to empower themselves, then I am showing up in a disempowered way as well, making and solidifying that disempowering message and vibration into them. Is that really what we want to be doing? Disempowering our own community, thinking we need more, we need to go viral in order to get more eyes and more visibility. If it's not aligned visibility, it doesn't work. I don't want a mass consumer type person in my space because they don't actually want to get tattoos. Mass consumers are the people that like the Friday the 13th $13 tattoos plus $7 extra as a tip, so you make $20 in the whole thing. That's mass consumer client. Mass consumer clients are the ones that like mass consumer viral content. They want the next viral hit. They want the next dopamine hit. If you're not continuously giving them that dopamine hit and you're continuously trying to pressure yourself into making more viral things because you think it's going to make you more visible, because you think it's actually going to get you more clients, you're going to get burned out. They're burned out of your content because it's not actually hitting them in all the dopamine spots, and they're going to go to someone else for the next Friday the 13th tattoo. So if you want to create die-hard community, you stick to the messaging, you stick to becoming identifiable, and you stick to empowerment. Speak to people's power. Speak to the power luxury buyer within them, because everybody has one. Not everybody is a millionaire that buys Louis Vuitton. They're the ones that also just want to be a part of something. They want to identify with something. I want to identify with the elite. I want to identify with exclusivity. So yeah, I might have saved up every check for a year in order to be part of the club, but now I'm part of the club and I feel so good about it, right? That's not my vibe. I don't really have a Louis Vuitton bag. I don't really have much of anything that is like that. But that's just not my vibe. Like, I like experiences. I want first class everything. And if I want first class everything, I'm going to treat my whole community like they're first class. I'm going to give them a first class experience from my content. I'm going to give them first class experience from the moment that they find me. First class experience when they come into my shop and get tattooed. First class experience from when I hug them at the end and walk them outside the door. That's first class. First class everything. I mean, for the people that are even traveling, we have a whole list of little Airbnbs. We have things for you to do while you're out here. We give you everything. We tell you what to do beforehand. I have snacks. I have things. Like, I'm like, let me be as first class as possible because I love a first class life. And the people that come to me are going to want that as well. And I'm speaking to people's power. You know, most of my clients during the recession and during slow season, I would say 50% or more of my clients come from out of state and come from out of country even. And so it's like, really, if we're really going to think of the concept of launching, think of the secret weapon you have in your back pocket to make your business a recession-proof business, it's really all about setting the foundations so that your launch is so beautiful that by the time you're like, okay, I'm going into this launch, it's during a recession, it's during slow season, let's see what happens. And you just automatically go into the energy of the momentum of yes. There's people out there that want to get tattooed by me. I'm not only manifesting them, they're manifesting me. How good does that feel when you're like out there doing content like that and all of a sudden you're just bringing people in? And even if you don't have quote unquote enough people on your space in order for you to get launched out, it's like, why not try? I'd rather set the foundations of big business thinking now at the beginning so that when I do get so big and I can't handle the volume, I have the system set up to sustain me. unless it crumbles and then everybody feels like they're not being heard or seen. And your clients are like, well, whatever, they haven't gotten back to me in a week. And whatever, like all of a sudden you're doing posts like, I'm so sorry, guys, I haven't gotten to my emails. Please be patient, da 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 da. And it's like, oh gosh, those story slides drive me a little bit bananas. You think it's helping you, and it really, all it does is it's like people feel sorry for you because you don't know how to organize what's going on in your business as an entrepreneur. When there's been so many people that have given them probably leeway and experience of first class. And so it's like, okay, how do I set the systems up so that I can sustain big business when it happens? I felt a little fiery today, you guys. I will leave you with that. So, building a recession-proof business is building a business based on the concepts of launching, from the pre-launch to the launch and to the post-launch. All the things before you create something to get into the launch, which is becoming an identifiable brand, empowering your people, believing that they're leading themselves to you and being in the right energy. We're going to be going over all of this stuff and booked out. So I highly recommend getting on top of it because I think we are in early bird right now. Yeah. And it's going to be a great time. All right, guys. Well, I will see you around. You have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode.